Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News, in a U.S. Basketball Writers Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Fame, Mike DeCourcy at TSN. Mike, before we get to the basketball and even a little U.S. men's national team who has a friendly and I think a picnic afterwards with Uruguay, I mean, it sounds like it would be fun. I'm sure you've got thoughts. James Franklin spent a long time at Penn State, really did a great job, except he couldn't win those games that Penn State wants their program to be able to win. But Virginia Tech is going to reap the benefits of somebody who knows how to build a program, and that is a university and a football community that desperately needs legitimacy. It's been a minute since they've been even good. So your thoughts on James Franklin of Blacksburg?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Virginia Tech, it's an A+ hire. You can't get to come unless you could you could reimagine Frank Beamer's first career there.
Right.
It's you can't get a better coach now to go to Blacksburg than they got. I'm a little surprised that James decided that was the best course for him, because remember, in a lot of ways, I mean, his contract says he has to go look for another job.
Right.
But it doesn't mean he has to take anything he's offered. And so in a lot of ways, he's kind of coaching Tech for free. If you at the core of it. So I mean, that means you really want to do this job. You have to really want it. And it's been a while, like you said, since Tech was really viable, and so you have to really love it, and you have to be really confident that in this environment you can restore them to some version of what they were 20 years ago.
Here's what's interesting to me about the job, and I think there's a parallel to Penn State. Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News is joining us. Penn State is all about their football program. I mean, Happy Valley, Central Pennsylvania, all about Penn State and everything. They put 94,000 people in that stadium every week, every Saturday, and places jammed. They love it. If you can succeed there, you're idolized. As we know what happened with the last coach, maybe too much so. But the thing about it is that Franklin spent a long time there, and he won a lot, and now he's coming to a place that, honestly, they just want to matter. I'm not saying that titles don't matter. I think Virginia Tech desperately wants to win an ACC and become nationally relevant again, but it's been so long since they have mattered even regionally, other than to their fans. And I think they look at Franklin. He can bring us that. He can get us back to that. And then, based on ACC football, I mean, if Duke could have almost won the league, I'll just ... that. So it's there for them.
It is. And the only thing they've won recently, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, Adam, but during the pandemic, when we were all pining for like people being back at football stadiums, we did a project at the Sporting News where we ranked the best stadium songs in all of sports, from Anfield's "You'll Never Walk Alone" to "Renegade" in Pittsburgh at the Steelers games, and "Enter Sandman" was the number one stadium song. The way they get that place rocking when they play that song on the way into, I don't know how much James is going to be able to appreciate that, but it's maybe he got a glimpse of that when he was being recruited to become the coach there, and maybe that's what convinced him, because it is really quite a scene.
Oh, it's an incredible atmosphere. I mean, Virginia Tech on Thursday nights was unparalleled anywhere. And I mean, they built, part of ESPN2 is built on Virginia Tech on Thursday nights. We know what really built ESPN2, and that was Duke, Carolina, because they put that game on that network the first couple of years that ESPN had a twin. But I'm thrilled for the people in Blacksburg, because it really is. I mean, if you could have drawn up the perfect person to take them to the next level, he's a great recruiter. And I know this personally, when Debbie Yao was the AD at Maryland, James Franklin was her guy. When Ralph Friedgen stepped aside, Debbie came here to NC State, and I think Kevin Anderson was the guy who took over, And Kevin Anderson, I believe, if Debbie Yao had a plan, we just tear it up and we don't do it. And we all saw how good Kevin Anderson was at his job. I'll just leave that right there. We've got Duke and Kansas in the Champions Classic, the second game of what has become one of the staples of the early part of the college basketball schedule. I've seen Kansas. They're not vintage. They're good, obviously. I don't think they're vintage, but Darren Peterson is legit. This Duke team, I'm not going to say that Cam Boozer is better than Cooper Flagg, but my gosh, he's incredible. How does Duke keep pulling these guys out of high schools and they go to college and they are just absolute beasts? I don't even know it. I have no words for him.
Well, it helps when that particular player is the son of one of your championship legends.
It should help. I talked to Carlos about it during that process. He absolutely insisted that he wasn't going to influence them. They were going to make their own decisions. And it came down to, I guess at the end, it was Miami and Duke, which is an easy choice, even though they're, from Miami. But Carolina was in on it early. I know that.
Yeah, and so I don't, in the general sense, in the professional prospect sense, I don't think that Cameron is a superior player to Cooper. But I do think that this team is even a better offensive team than last year's. Cooper was phenomenal. Con Knipple, you're seeing what he's doing now, and he was terrific last year as well. But I think you have more offensive weapons on this team. With Patrick Gongba at center, I think he's Kaman Malawach was a phenomenal player, but Patrick is not as strong a defensive player, as strong a rebounder as what you had a year ago. But he's an outstanding offensive player, and I think Isaiah Evans now. You may not be as deep as you were a year ago because you could barely get Isaiah Evans on the floor, but he's fantastic. I loved him last year. He saved the Auburn game.
Yeah.
And so, the one thing that you still wonder about with this team is they didn't really have a point guard last year. Sion James did the best he could with that, and it worked all the way up till the final 90 seconds of the Houston game when it didn't. And Caleb Foster had gotten the first chance last year, and it didn't quite work, and now he's getting another look at it. So it's the only thing about this Duke team that you don't 100% know about. But again, I don't think it really hurts you until it does, if you understand what I'm saying.
Totally. I think they're hoping that Caden Boozer can be in some ways like one of the Jones brothers who was so good for Duke. Also, looking at Duke's schedule, Arkansas, Florida, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Michigan, plus twice against UNC and Louisville. If Duke has a really good record against that schedule, do they make the NBA playoffs?
Great question. It's amazing to see how much more of that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Much more so than we had in the past. And I don't know exactly what the change is. I think it probably there's probably some money involved into the programs. Obviously, we're seeing that with the tournament out in Vegas, the Players Era tournament, putting a lot of money into the sport. That may have a lot to do with it, but it's great for the sport that they play each other. I still think, and I think you'd probably agree, that it would be really even cooler if we saw more of those games played on home courts than we do.
Right.
It would. The Champions Classic has always been an exception. It started 2011 and sort of ushered into the sport this era of heavyweights playing one another. It wasn't a totally new thing, but we'd gotten away from it, and it helped revive that. So I'd like to see more environments. Cameron, there's nothing like it. Dean Dome's fantastic. I mean, Allen Fieldhouse, my favorite gym in all of college basketball. I want to see more games there more often.
I agree with you, and I know Duke's doing that. They did the home and home with Arizona. A couple of these games. The Florida game I think is on a neutral court. Michigan State I think is up. Is that in East Lansing? I know the Michigan game, they always take a home game and they bring it to Madison Square Garden,
Right.
which is
Right.
a Duke home game always. I mean,
Right.
they pack Madison Square Garden. There's arguably more Duke fans than Knicks fans. I kid, because that's not true. But you're right. But the money is in the neutral site games, because there's somebody will pay both schools to show up. I know they just played Texas in the Dick Vitale Classic in a game in Charlotte, which was just Duke was dynamite. I think Texas is good too, but they're not ranked anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. We talk about this. I think this could be a vintage year for the Atlantic Coast Conference locally for us here, because I love what Will Wade has done with State. I have now seen them play. I didn't catch last night's game because I was watching hockey as the Canes beat Boston. But they're big, they're talented. They play hard. Will Wade knows what he's doing. And the game they scheduled last night against VCU, which was absolutely losable, he talked about those being the types of games he wants to play more often. They're going to go to VCU. It's not a bye game. They're going to play a game on the Rams' home court. And now they're going out to Maui next week.
Right.
I love where Will Wade's got this program headed.
Yeah, it brought in some terrific transfers. Darren Williams from Texas Tech is trending toward All-America contention. Yep. I saw a lot of Trey Holloman, obviously working at the Big Ten Network. We had their games and we had their highlights a ton, and so I know Trey Holloman's game really well. And this is the perfect opportunity for him to spread his wings a little bit. He wasn't going to be the point guard at Michigan State, so he gets here. He gets the chance to get the ball a little bit more here. He's still not the full-time point guard, but he gets the ball a little bit here, and he's blossoming as a shooter. He was always a good shooter at Michigan State, but he's blossoming there. You're seeing when you've got Alan Breed and Van Allen Lubin on your team, and they're getting 13, 15, 18, 20 minutes. You're pretty good.
Yep.
You're deep. Those guys are good players. They've got good track records, and they're just better guys out there for the Pac right now. So it's a really exciting time. Like you said, college basketball. I'm not one of those people who believes that those teams have to be good for college basketball to be thrilling. But when they are good, and especially when they're all good at the same time, it adds a special element to the season, and it's been a while since all three of them had it at the same time.
I just wish the ACC had the foresight to have State play Carolina or Duke twice. We only get one State-Carolina game, one State-Duke game. It is an epic failure by the league to not recognize that. All right, I have to ask you this because I was asked a question about Gio Reyna yesterday. We have a segment called One-Timers where people just ask random questions, and somebody asked me yesterday, what does Gio Reyna have to do to make Mauricio Pochettino's men's national team roster for the World Cup? My answer was he's going to have to get on the field for his club team. He's barely playing for Mönchengladbach. So, I mean, to me, it's got to start there. He was great against Paraguay. I'm sure he's going to play tonight against Uruguay, but doesn't it have to start with his ability to play for his club team?
Yes and no. I don't think that when you're in a situation like the U.S. is that you can be beholden to what if you see it and they don't? You know what I mean? Like, you think he can ball and Mönchengladbach doesn't think he can. So you're going to listen to them, or you're going to play you're going to go with your evaluation. I think so I think that he has to he'll get I don't see any reason why he wouldn't get another start tonight, because it's not like you have to protect him so he can go back and play 7 minutes there. So he has to continue to play like that. And I would say, honestly, at this point, I'm not one who in the media wants people to talk less, but I think he would help himself to talk less.
Yeah,
I think the two interviews he did both made him look bad. And not horrible, but not good. And so what he needs to do is put his head down and be a good teammate and be a good player for the coach, be someone that is coachable, and play well. I thought that he had the two biggest moments in the game Saturday against Paraguay, and I think I think he can play better though. It's interesting. One of my favorite soccer podcasts I was listening to, and there were things I didn't think that he played great for a lot of that game, but he had the two big moments, and when you produce two goals, there's no taking it away. But I think there's room for improvement in producing more balls that are goal worthy, either on your own strike or passes that lead to goals or lead to great chances. I think there's more of that out there for him. So he needs to do that, first of all. And then stay healthy is part two.
Yeah.
And then part three is, get on the field. That'd be great. But I don't think that the U.S. is going to not bring him because Mönchengladbach says he's not good enough. I think that's why it was beneficial to him to come in. And maybe for him, it was great that Christian decided, or they decided, or however it was worked out, that rather than risk his further injury, that he stayed in Italy, and it really opened the door for Gio. Not that he's going to surpass Christian Pulisic, but it gives him a chance to get these minutes and find a way to get back in March when they have this next round of friendlies. And at that point, everybody probably is in, and then he has to show he's valuable off the bench, or he's really helpful in training and all of that sort of thing. And then if an opportunity presents itself, he's got to be valuable, because that's the role he carped about 4 years ago is almost certainly the role he's going to fill this time, and that is impact sub.
Yeah,
and so he's got to show in March that he can be an impact sub and not be unhappy about it.
Yeah, we've got so many of our theoretical best players not even involved. No Anthony Robinson, no Tyler Adams, who is just absolutely a mainstay now in central midfield for Bournemouth. Pulisic, Weston McKennie. There's so many guys. I'm looking forward to seeing. I bet Haji Wright gets some run tonight. I'd love to see him as well, because he's scoring tons of goals at Coventry. Michael DeCourcy. It says Michael DeCourcy on the screen. Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News. At TSN Mike. And me, the dope, just went and read it. All right, sir. I appreciate your time. Be well. I will talk to you very soon.
Always a pleasure, Adam.